Welcome to the Why Not podcast with me, Chrissy Hawkins. In a world where everybody always asks why, I'm here to ask, why not? I'll be breaking down the mindsets of guests as well as my own in a bid to find out what makes people say, why not?
Hi, my name's Chrissy. I'm a personal trainer, gym enthusiast and part-time equestrian. My goal here is to help people feel better about themselves by helping them strengthen their mindset and their body image. And I want them to be able to do things that they never thought they could believe possible. So if that sounds like something you want to do, I want to help you. Good morning everyone and welcome back to the Why Not podcast. So, little bit of a change for the coming weeks. We have just myself today. I'm going to try and get on a few guests. So if you don't know who I am Chrissy. So basically, Yvonne is just taking a break for a couple of weeks, which is totally fine. By the way, we are still friends. She will be making appearances back on the pod. But for the moment, it's just going to be me, which may work well, may not. It'll be interesting to see how I deal with topics on my own and not having someone to talk to about. So let's see how this goes. And as I said, I want to just reiterate as many times as I can possible, we have not fallen out. We are still good friends. She will be back on the podcast. She was welcome back anytime. It's just, she just wasn't feeling it as much, which is fair enough. I wanted to keep running with it. And we came to the agreement that I will do it for the moment, and she is always going to come back and is always welcome back. Hopefully in the next few weeks, well, we have a few other guests that I will interview, and I think that explains everything, I hope. But anyway, I hope you're all looking forward to listening to me. I am excited and terrified because I am now, it's solely on me to record the podcast. So bit of pressure, but we'll see how everything goes. On today's podcast, I want to talk about negative people and how to deal with them, how we may be able to work their negativity to our favour, or also how to ignore them, because it is very, very difficult in life when you are trying to get by and succeed in your own field, not necessarily even if it's a career thing, just in general your day-to-day life, and you have negative people around you. It really just sucks the life out of you, and this can become very, very wearing, and then you end up becoming negative. So I'm going to start first with I'm going to start first with the sentence here. You are the 5 people closest to you. So whoever is in your inner circle, the people you spend your most time with, your 5 closest friends, you are likely to become the 6th. So the reason I'm saying this is, if 5 of your friends are athletes, you're probably going to come to 6th. If 5 of your friends are entrepreneurs that are succeeding, you'll be the 6th. If 5 of your friends are binge drinkers and all they do every day is that, you'll become the 6th. So likewise, this comes with negative people. So if your 5 closest friends are really, really negative people, and everything they do, they hate their life, they hate their job, they hate this, they hate fucking everything. Sorry, it's a bit close to the bone. You are likely to become that 6th person. So it's very, very important who you surround yourself with. You want to surround yourself with the type of people who are going to lift you up and try and support you, and always be coming up with the ideas and things that can help you move forward in life. Things that can end up making you negative, there's so many different things. If you are always looking to be happy, you're looking for the next thing that's going to make you happy, the likelihood is you'll never be happy. You have to remember that happiness is in fact a journey. It's not a destination. So if you are doing stuff you don't enjoy, that aren't making you happy, you're likely to fall into this rut as well. Another thing that can cause it is stagnation. So if you're not learning, we are built as humans to learn constantly. If you're not learning, well, you tend to become stagnant, which can also lead to negativity. The reason I'm bringing these up is if you yourself are finding that you're very, very negative and you don't know why, look at your life around you. Are you happy in your job? Are you constantly being able to progress in life? Not necessarily your job. Could be your relationship. Could be anything. Like, are you in a situation where you are happy to learn, or you can you progress? Because when you become stagnant is when things start to look crap around you. You get depressed. I just want to bring that up as an idea for someone who may not be able to see why. The other reason, again, as I said, is the people around you. So maybe look at them. Are they in that kind of situation? Now look, there's all you can do to try and help them. You know, if they don't want to be helped, they don't want to be helped. But that could be why they're negative, and it could be time for you to space yourself away from them. Personally, I have found this has come up. I suffered a long time. I was very unhappy with what I was doing. Very, very long time. I was in a job, I wasn't happy, I wasn't going anywhere, but also it was comfortable, which was the problem. Because when you get comfortable, you don't want to move. And it's scary to move from comfort, obviously, because, you know, you're there. But sometimes a comfortable position can be the most uncomfortable thing you can do. So eventually in the last year, first off, actually, to be fair, I have to say, I was in a job that was stagnant. I couldn't go any further. There was no, motivation to improve myself. You know, you couldn't have any, there was no increases in pay. There was no way I could move up the ladder. Basically, it was just draining me a little bit. And then the first thing I did was I got sick of being miserable. So I decided, look, I'm going to have to reframe how I think. It's up to me to fix this situation. If I look at it in a negative light, everything's going to suck. If I turn it around and go, well, look, how else do I pay my rent? How do I get this? How do I get money for that? This, that and the other. When you start to look at it in a different light, it definitely helps. And then the second thing I did was start looking for somewhere else. And that's what I did last year. And I gradually worked my way through the year out of it into a more self-employed type of role, job that I really, really was interested in. And of course, I picked the worst year to do it, the year of a pandemic. However, there's been stress, there's been closures, and at the end of the day, I wouldn't change it. To be honest, I'm glad I've moved on. I have a challenge now. I have a constant challenge with my new job. Obviously, as you know, I'm a person. So, you know, constantly having clients now or classes and things and learning new things, which is really, really important to not only me, but as humans in general. So I think I made a really good move by doing that. And it's also helped me change my outlook. You know, it puts more responsibility on me to organise myself. Before, I was just given the roster and this is what you did. And except I have to organise stuff around mine to make my schedule as easy as possible, which is great. It's up to me to organise other things. And while I'm not perfect at it, it's a work in progress, and I'm really, really glad that I've done it. So if you're in that situation, do not be afraid to make the leap. I know it's a bad time. Maybe you might feel like financially it's not a good option to move from where you are. What I would say is, if you do feel that way, just maybe think about where you are. So, okay, fine, I don't want to leave because I'm worried about what will happen. Fine, but you need to look at where you are and your situation. What can you change? And sometimes the only thing you can change about the environment is how you see it. So I think you need to remember that. Your job mightn't be great, that's fine. But what does it provide you with? Are you able to save? Are you able to pay rent? Stuff like that. Little things that can help you reframe what you're doing. Same thing, look, if you're in a bad relationship or you have bad friendships, can you talk to them about it? Can you see if there's a way of fixing it? And if not, maybe it's time to pull that band-aid off and leave. I'm not telling people to break up with their other half and stuff like that. I'm just saying, just look at it as a whole. Same thing with your friends. And I wouldn't like to do this, but you know, if they're not serving you, if their friendship isn't serving you, there's signs, you know, if you're not excited to see them, you don't want to talk to them that much, maybe distance yourself a little bit if you have to. Now, this can be difficult when it comes to family members, because I think everybody has an issue with family members at some point. I would be very surprised if everyone in the world just has super happy, always positive family members. Now, maybe, which is fucking class if you do, but also there's always at least one, I think, in the family that can be negative, maybe several. It really depends. There's a few things with this. Obviously you can't really cut family out of your life, it's a lot harder to do so, but when it comes to their negativity, if it is bringing you down and ruining your day constantly, you need to do something about it. You can't make excuses for them and who they are. It's up to you to take control back and just basically tell them to feck off. No, you can't always do that. It would be lovely to do that, but then they're kind of dragging you into their hole and causing you frustration to the point that you snapped and gone mad at them. What I would say is there's a few things you can do here. You can stop taking their opinions to heart. Again, I know this is hard, especially if they're a close family member, mother, father, brother, sister. Look at the opinion. If it's coming from a good place, okay, you can understand that. Sometimes you want to go and do something and family members will question you because it comes from a place of caring. Like, I know me going into the business I come from parents who are 9-to-5ers, so it's very hard for them to understand why I wouldn't get a secure job, etc. Which is fair. They just want to make sure I'm okay. They just want to make sure I'm financially stable. It's where they grew up in. It's completely fine. However, they are still quite supportive of my career choice, so I just want to put that out there. So if it comes from a place of kindness, just look at it and understand that they don't understand what you're doing, which is fine. Not everyone's going to understand what your choices. They're different. Like, I don't understand all the choices that I have or my friends have, but I support them if it's what makes them happy. So understand that and think about it like this. That they do mean well, and they're not trying to drag you down or put you off what you're doing. They're just worried about you. Now, there's another family type as well, not family type, but in general, who will be negative and drag you down, and that's just the way they are, because they're not happy with they are. People project on them, so if they're not happy with their life, they're going to take it out on you. Not always, but it happens. So sometimes this is where the negativity comes. So they're going to tear you down because they're not happy where they are, which is absolutely stupid, because, you know, it's none of their business what you're doing. But think of it this way, and this comes from people come from kindness as well, this saying, right? So this saying works for both types of people, whether you are coming from a place of kindness or also those negativity people that are mad and horrible, that are just mean because they're unhappy, everyone else has to be unhappy. If you would not switch places with this person, do not take advice from them. So I'm going to repeat that again. If you would not switch places with someone, do not take advice from them. So your family member who has always done office jobs, secure, all that kind of thing, and they're saying, oh no, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to work weekends? But it's something you want to do and you love. Remember that. Just like, I'm sorry, yeah, that's great, but this is something that I'm interested in. I want to do it. I'm happy to work weekends. Weekends don't mean the same thing to everyone. So there's that. So always remember that you wouldn't switch places with them. So you just kind of go, thank you for your advice. It's just not the way I'm working. You know, don't take it to heart. They just don't understand that kind of lifestyle choice. Now, same thing with the person who's dragging you down just for the sake of it. Like, look at their overall life. In fairness, a lot of the time, would you switch places with them? I don't think so. If you really look at it and boil down to it, it could be a case of, you might be like, oh, they've loads of money, but they're miserable. So why would you want to switch places? That's fine, you'd have money, but you'd be miserable too. Or they have a high paying job, or a great job, or whatever, or they have a really good looking girlfriend, or blah blah, they've just many followers, that kind of stuff. All this, the random shite we compare everyone to. But realistically, at the end of the day, none of that's making them happy. So they are lashing out on other people. So would you really switch places with that person? Because I know I wouldn't. And I know people, negative people or people around me who are definitely financially better off than me, or whatever. They have maybe a house, or they have this, that and the other, and at the end of the day I still wouldn't switch it with them for the world, because where I am and how I'm working, I am happy. I'm not happy all the time. Let's be realistic here, no one is happy 100% of the time. I still suffer a lot with anxiety issues and stuff, but I'm happy because I'm working towards something, and I know that I don't have to be there already to be happy. So it's like I said, happiness is a journey. It is not a destination. So you better give up if you're always going to think you're going to be happy when, because when I thought I'd be happy when, I was miserable. And now I accept everything I'm doing, and I'm a little bit better. Not always great, but a little bit better. The other thing you have to remember is people like that as well, these negative people who just want to see everyone fail because they're miserable, are always going to be like that. There's a very, very, very small chance they'll change, and one thing I would say in this situation is you can always use that for fuel to fire. So people who think you're being mad, doing what you're doing, living the way you want to live, whatever, that doesn't matter what that means to you. It doesn't matter, a job, relationships, whatever that means to you. The people who trying to drag you down because that's the way you want to live your life, use that as fuel to the fire. You prove them wrong. You prove you can do it this way. For me, people maybe not think that personal training, fitness industry is a good career to go down. Well, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'll get there. Now, to be fair, I haven't encountered much people. Go out and show them. Anything they say, you prove them wrong. And do that constantly. It doesn't matter if you look like you're just constantly rebelling. It's better for you. Like, it can be very, very, very hard not to take stuff like this to heart, especially if it's a close family member. If it's something they'd say or do. In that sense, I don't think I'm doing a good job or whatever. I don't know, to be honest. Maybe they just haven't told me. But if they were, I'd be the type of person to be like, well, feck you, I'm going to do it anyway. But I've always been like that. You tell me it's white and I will tell you if it's black, and I will argue to the ground that it's black. But you need to build that bulletproof mentality, and fine, they don't think you want to do it or you can do it, you're going to show them you can. And that's really, really important. Do not let them, don't prove them right. That's a really big thing. I think don't prove them right. You get out and you do what you want to do, and you show them that they're a fucking idiot. And sometimes they're the very people who'll turn around and go, yeah, I always knew you were going to do that. And then sometimes they'll just be like, yeah, well, whatever. It could go either way, to be honest. But like, you can point blank go around, and admit that they knew, or no, agree with them that they knew you were going to make it, or disagree with them and tell them they were fucking idiot from the start. But whatever way you handle it is up to you, in that sense. But I would just say it'd be very, very hard to do and not take it to heart if it's a close family member, especially if someone you've grown up with and lived around your whole life. But at the end of the day, your happiness is not their responsibility. And if they're making you unhappy, You need to distance yourself from them. So, no one's happiness is anyone's responsibility but themselves. How you handle situations in all forms is how you will progress in life. With this kind of situation, it's hard at first, obviously, ignoring close family members and what they're saying, but it gets easier with time. And you have to remember that as well. These things take time to get used to build up. It's like a muscle, working a muscle. You know, and if you don't keep going with it, you'll slide back into those habits. So always remember that you need to work on this to keep it. You need to work on this. You need to work on it constantly as well. So yeah, you need to constantly work on dealing with negative people constantly. So some people will make it easier than others because they'll always be on your case. Other people, or you'll be surprised what little things will sting from time to time. But you have to remember that they're not right about what they say. How you feel about you is the most important thing. Their opinion means nothing. Unless, it doesn't even matter if they're your idol and they're saying something. You know, you can still prove them wrong. It's up to you to build that strength to deflect any negative comments, any negativity. And always think about it. If they say something like, oh, you can't do that. Well, why can't I? I always ask them, why wouldn't I be able to? What's the problem? Why couldn't I do that? And ask them, see what they say. You could always ask them, why do you think that? Or what about these other people? What's the difference between me and them? You know, if they say you can't run a marathon, ask them why. A lot of the time we just tell ourselves these stories. So when people tell us the story as well, it just reinforces this own negative opinion we have about ourselves. So if you start to do the work and believe in yourself, and someone tells you can't succeed in, say, your career because the market's saturated, that's something we hear in the PT a lot. You say, well, why can't I? Why was this person able to do it? And why was this person able to do it? And why was 10 other people able to do it? So remember that. The people who aren't able to do it are the ones that don't believe in themselves. And don't believe the shite that people will tell you. Again, not in a bad way, I just have a habit of disappearing off on weird tangents because my brain goes the wrong direction, even though I've got a note in front of me telling me to say this. So, hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that's a good little chat on dealing with negative people and negativity and kicking ass in the world and showing everyone you can do it and you are amazing. And if you don't believe it, I'm here to tell you, you are fan-fucking-tastic. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And you keep telling yourself that until you believe it. Because I'm still telling myself that and I don't believe it. So it takes a while. But, you know, as I said, things get easier over time. The more you practice these things, the better you get. And don't be afraid to practice it. Because if you don't do it, you won't get the benefit. That is everything I think I have to say for today, and thank you everyone for listening as ever. So, bit of waffle there, bit of pausing because I ran out of things to say because I'm used to discussing this with someone. It's really weird talking on your own, I have to say. We're a little bit shorter today because, as I said, I was going solo, wasn't really sure I was going, had notes. Wrote them down, kind of went off on a tangent on my own anyway, not following my notes at the start, so apparently I don't need a Vaughn for tangents. You will find me on Instagram. It's Chrissy H Fitness, so CHRISSYH for Hawkins, and fitness as in being fit. I'm also to be found on TikTok as Chrissy H Fit. So if you want to see really interesting, informative fitness posts, go on to my Instagram. If you want to see me being an Egypt, my horse and my guinea pigs, you will find that on TikTok. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please, please, please let me know how you're getting on, how you find it. Give me a message, drop me a line. It's my first time going solo, so I really hope it was okay. I'm not used to not having a Vaughn to bounce off, so if this was shite, let me know. I'll try and see if I can improve it a bit. And yeah, I think that is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed it and looking forward to hear the feedback. Thanks a mil for listening, everyone, and
thank you again for listening to Why Not. Please hit that subscribe button or leave a review. And if you have any suggestions or feedback, feel free to hit me up on social media.